Good day, folks. How are you doing? Welcome back to Film Time for another dose of the A&E Network reality series, Storage Wars. Today, we'll be talking about 8 insane Storage Wars fights that got out of hand. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Number 1. Dave versus Laura and Dan Dotson. In perhaps what can be considered one of the biggest fights, if not the most popular fight, Dave hit Laura while fighting Dan. While out on an auction, Dan had missed a bidder and awarded Renee a storage unit. While many had calmly pointed out that Dan had missed a bidder and Dan was explaining to the bidder that he didn't see her, Dave had pointed to Dan aggressively. Dan, not ready to take Dave's insults, had confronted Dave and the two physically escalated the fight. Laura had tried to intervene, but Dave pushed her roughly to the ground. Dave was later escorted out of the premises. Number 2. Dave and Brandi. If you're a fan of Storage Wars, then you're bound to know Dave is like the show's resident villain. One of his tactics is emotionally manipulating the other bidders until they could only think about fighting him rather than focusing on the storage units that they were bidding on. And this time, Brandi was the victim, as Dave kept instigating Jared, Brandi's husband, and Brandi had responded and a fight between the three broke out. Number 3. Renee and Dave. If you're a new fan of Storage Wars, here's one thing you should know. Dave's name will probably be on the list of many fights that have ever occurred on the show. This is mainly because Dave will try anything to get his hands on any unit that he deems worthy. But the fight between Renee and Dave was more of an ego fight than anything else, as the two had wanted to emotionally manipulate each other before the auction started. The fight further escalated when Dave threatened Renee, and Renee was having none of it. Number 4. Jared and Brandi. The couple brought their domestic drama to work. The two are often at odds with one another. Jared had the tendency of bargaining more than the agreed budget between him and Brandi, which often results in arguments between the two. But at a particular auction, Jared had bid over $1,000 for a particular storage unit that later ended up being full of junk. Brandi had warned him against spending so much, but Jared insisted he knew what he was doing. His inability to listen to his partner later led to a big fight between the two. Number 5. Trey Songz and Dave. Some big fights happen off camera that fans might not know about. But while the fight between Dave and Trey Songz might have happened off camera, the bone of contention is something about the show. The reality star had sued the singer over the catchphrase, "Yup." According to Dave, the artist's use of the catchphrase was interfering with him and had sought for barring of the catchphrase by the artist. Dave had claimed Trey's use sounded like an animal squeal. Number 6. Jared and Renee. In an attempt to fill in the shoes of the resident villain, Renee took up Dave's mantle and provoked a fight out of Jared just to throw the other bidder off his game. Even though his borrowed tactic from Dave almost called a fight between him and Casey, Renee eventually won the locker, but only after a few colorful words were exchanged between the two. The fight between the two had also caused tension between Jared and Brandi, who had promptly told Jared to shut up when the bid was on. Number 7. Dave and Daryl's son. As earlier stated, Dave is the instigator behind many fights on Storage Wars, but this particular fight between him and Daryl's son can be argued was mainly Daryl's son. When Daryl had won a bid over Dave, things had quickly become tense between the three, as Daryl's son had told Dave to hit him, a sentiment Dave had echoed back at him. The fight had broken out between the two, and Daryl had walked away, leaving his son and Dave to continue fighting each other. Number 8. Storage and Murder. One of the insane fights that eventually got out of control was off camera, which we are thankful for, as it eventually led to a murder. Storage Wars Miami, a spinoff of the hit show, had a son of one of its bidders fatally shoot a woman while watching an episode of the hit show. Hashim Kevin Pugh had shot Janelle Hamilton, his family friend, during a viewing party. He had shot the unsuspecting woman multiple times without stopping until he was physically restrained by his father. It's still one of the most insane things that have ever been revealed on the show. There you have it, guys. 8 insane Storage Wars fights that got out of hand. Which of these moments did you find intriguing? Share your thoughts with the others in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed the video, please do not hesitate to click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awesome content. You can also turn on the bell icon to get notified of our future posts. We hope to see you again soon. Adios.